Hey guys, welcome to another episode in the deep playthrough of GT5. This episode we are doing the same as the previous episodes and the one in the 2 episodes before that one, episode 36, which is the HUD car championship. I already won it twice in those previous episodes. But I didn't win the 5th out of 5 races. In that 5th race, the AI becomes artificially fast. Like a car that wasn't fast in any of the preceding 4 races, suddenly draws like a huge gap and just wins the race. And it's super annoying because I want to win all the races. And if in a championship, that means you have to restart the whole championship. And even if you could only redo that single race, which maybe you can even do, I don't like to do it, but I will start over the full championship then anyways, because that is what makes championships more impactful, is that, it's a series of events. It's not like separate races. So yeah, I want to win all the races also within championship. So if I miss one win in a championship, then I start over the championship. And I really wanted to have like a little bit of an underdog car, so not like a super high PP, because there are some cars like the Honda S2000 GT1 Turbo and the HKS Mitsubishi Lancer. They are way overpowered, but then it becomes just too easy. You just you can win by pressing half the throttle, and even then you will win probably. So I did not take those cars, but I now did take a slightly more powerful car in a Nismo R34 GTR. Because otherwise it is just, I need to win that final race. I can win even in an underdog car, I can win the first 4 races. But that 5th race, it seems like scripted. It's very artificial how fast suddenly one car becomes and just takes huge leads. So I need to have a faster car. I didn't take the fastest car, like that Mitsubishi or the S2000s. But I do think I have a much better chance in that Nismo than the RX-7 that I used in the previous attempts. So hopefully 3 times is a charm. 5 races, 5 laps per race. Here we go again for the 3rd time. It's actually quite annoying thinking about it, but okay, it is what it is. Here you see all golds except the last one. Alright, is the S2000 in the fields? No, but there are 2 yellow birds. They're not even that powerful compared to the S2000, etc. But those Porsches, the yellow bird and that other CTR, they are also really quite quick. That Audi is also quick. Yeah, but now, if I'm going with a quicker car myself, I just want to also, let's do a grid where we have that S1, that S2000s. Yeah, you see a GT1 at the front. But that's not the one, it's the turbo one that is really crazy quick. But let's make it a bit hard on ourselves, that we get a grid where there's also that S2000 GT1 turbo. To have a little bit of a challenge. Yeah, it's still not here. Wow, it's so weird. Alright, I'm going back to the whole main menu now. In the previous attempts, it was almost always there. Now, 3 times starting over, it's not there. There it is, and now it's actually in second place, so it's not even being held up by the others. So this is crazy, this is probably undoable, because the car really is crazy quick. But it will be held up by that Porsche Boxster in front. I think that's a Boxster, a 3400S. So if I can get past it, and then keep it behind me. For the rest, there are not that many quick cars. The Mitsubishi is not here. Alright, let's see how this goes. Oh, fuck me. It already overtook the Boxster. It's now in first place. Alright, let's see if we can keep up with it. Holy shit, this car has a lot of grip accelerating. I forgot. This is four-wheel drive probably. But still, it will be crazy hard keeping up with it. And probably not doable. In the S's I'm gaining a little bit. Then I'm making a mistake and it's gone. No, I don't think it's possible. Or it is maybe possible, but not after making that mistake. And you cannot retry a race with the same grid, because you cannot retry a race within a championship. Alright, now we have the super fast Mitsubishi up front. And an S2000. Alright, let's see how it goes. The S2000 is being held up by the Mitsubishi, while the Mitsubishi itself is also super quick, but somehow it's not driving that quick. We're in a good spot. Holy shit. Really need to brake earlier in this car. You see, the Mitsubishi is now gaining. God damn it, I need to steer in earlier. Really need to get a flow through these S's. Earlier. Here he comes, the S2000. Pretty cool. You see the carbon fiber in the rear wing. S's are really annoying if you don't have the correct line. Holy shit, I almost left a gap for him to get through. Man, he is so crazy quick. This is actually pretty cool. Now I have a car that is somewhat competitive against him, but it is still really hard. I do think it's winnable. There he comes. S's is if you mix up one corner, your approach to the next one is also compromised. Shit, again, I'm always braking too late in that corner. Right, now the trickiest corner. see the braking points. In pockets. Pretty cool battle for second place. He's already in second place now, the S2000. Alright, Daytona. God damn it, the Mitsubishi is in pole. I still don't know where the braking zone is here. Sorry. Alright, but also in a slower car, somehow the AI in this race is really pretty slow. It's really weird. Just like it is weird that in the 5th race they are super quick, or at least one car is super quick. Here, that S2000 is also nowhere. At least not yet. Right, I think, no, it's still the Lancer. Oh, fuck me. I think it's still the Lancer in seconds. And the S2000 in 3rd. But I'm sure he will be in 2nd soon. Fuck me. That's a pretty fast car. Watch a little bit of replay. That's all she wrote. Alright, this one is very annoying. This track has like a white screen just before entering that tunnel. The screen turns white for like 2 or 3 seconds. Super annoying. Man, that Porsche is pretty quick as well. Nice. Mitsubishi is holding up the S2000. No, actually the screen didn't flicker, so maybe it's fixed. Yeah, nice. Because in both previous attempts that I did this championship, it turned white, but not anymore, which is pretty nice. And this car has pretty amazing brakes actually. Always fucking up that corner. Such an annoying corner. No, 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 no. No way. No way. One mistake. Fucking hell, man. One fucking mistake. Oh my gosh. One fucking mistake. Alright, so we have to start over. This is crazy. I'm already 4 hours doing this championship. Including episode 36. Crazy. The previous episode and this episode. Absolutely mental. Fucking hell, man. It's getting old really quickly. Alright, do we have a competitive? I do want a bit. I do like it that we are not the fastest. So that S2000 is always a threat. But we can win if we just get in front and block him. And not make stupid mistakes. Like that was such a stupid mistake. I don't even know what happened there. It's normally I'm braking at the 100 meter sign, but this time it wasn't enough. Maybe I approached faster than others. Alright, so the S2000 is in 3rd place. Alright, that is going to be very tricky, but I'm gonna try it anyways. And is the other one also in the field? No. The Mitsubishi is not here. But yeah, I'm gonna take my chance with this grid. Alright, I'm gonna take a small break and then we will again start over. Alright, here we go again for the 4th time this championship. Fuck me, he's already up front. But the good news is that here we have some corners. Where we can be quicker. Slightly. Although he's pulling away quite hard. But you really, in this car, you really can floor the accelerator much quicker than in other cars without spinning out. Fucking hell, man.
not fun, man. Constant failing. That car is just too quick, and I didn't even actually want to win with bumping him in that last chicane. But god damn it, man, this is just ridiculous. Yes, I can tune my car, but then it feels like cheating. That is so easy. Just put on a bigger turbo and yeah, you will win. Alright, we have an S2000 at the back and Mitsubishi at the second place. God damn it, this is annoying. Ah, and also a rough. They're also quick. And that's the same car as I'm driving actually. And that is a little bit the problem with that last race. Because in the previous episode, when I went second, the car that got me was also in the same car as I was driving, Mazda RX-7. So it could be with now two of the cars, the same cars that I'm driving, starting from pole, and in that last race, that it will be the same thing. They will be starting from pole, but they will just be artificially fast all of a sudden. Here now they are pretty slow, actually. Curious where that S2000 is by now. It does feel a little bit like cheating winning this way. Yeah, what can I do? I cannot stay stuck on this championship forever. It would be nice if that S2000 would be a little bit more up front. A little bit of a challenge. Because now he is just stuck in traffic, I guess. see him in the rearview mirror there. So easy to make a small mistake. Yeah, I see the Mitsubishi in the rear view mirror. Another lap? God damn it. I mean, this way it is not even fun. It is just numb, mind-blowingly boring. But yeah, I do think that the starting position can change. Not really. Whatever, I'm just gonna continue. I cannot drive that Suzuka so many laps in a row. I cannot do it over and over so often. Right, in this track, somehow the AI is super slow. At least, that's my experience. Now again, mind-numbing driving 4.5 more laps. I'm really not focused anymore, but in this track it really doesn't matter, because they're so ridiculous slow. honestly, how mind-numbingly boring this is. Do I want to win this way without any competition? That's the problem. Either you're in a car that is way too slow, or if you are in that S2000, you're way too quick. It is just not a nice difficulty challenge. Because now I'm just driving mindlessly just to get this over with, which is fine. But the previous setup I really liked, where I made that mistake in the Speed Valley, or Deep Valley Speedway. That was really nice. That the S2000 was a bit in the midfield, so he was really quickly on your tail. And then it really was like a challenge, not making a mistake, keeping him behind me. But now that S2000 is all the way at the back, and it takes forever to catch up. If it even does, it doesn't. And that's Mitsubishi, which is supposed to be second fastest car behind that S2000. It's driving super slow. Yeah, I do think in this race it is always slow, so I will just continue. The AI is always very slow, but just feel it is mind-numbing. Right, so must not forget to brake early for this corner. This is where I lost it previously. just thinking about some controls on my wheel. I'm not thinking about driving at all. At least that I'm not driving that well, but at least that Lancer is hanging a little bit with me. I can still see it in the rear view mirror. Holy shit. Looking at some objects, trackside clutter. almost falling asleep. But yeah, we have to grind through, otherwise I will never get 5 golds. Alright, the Amuse, the S2000 is in 7th. Fourth. So it really was coming up, but too little too late. Will we come in seconds? I really should have started it over with a little bit more, because the starting position seems to be the same across the races. I thought it would change a bit. I really should have started it over for a more challenging setup with the S2000 more up front. But yeah, it's now too late. I'm not again gonna do it. And the big question is, how fast will it be in the last race? It is pretty fun how different these tracks feel in a different car, because your braking points are obviously different. In the RX-7 here, why do they do these brake tests? I don't understand. But in the RX-7 I could almost go full throttle to that right-hander, or a little bit of lift off. In this car you really have to brake. my god, I hate understeer so much. Well, almost looks like the S2000 is already in second place, I'm not sure. That would be pretty epic. But it was probably just that Nismo. Yeah. I can get on the power much earlier there. Wow, I don't know what I was doing there. Oh my god. So bad. I'm really not focused anymore. let's see how. He got to the 4th place. Right, now for the big one. It could very well be that a random car, even that Skyline in first place, now will be extremely quick. Would not surprise me one bit. And if that is the case, then I'm just the next attempt I'm going to use that S2000. Because then it will be really too much time. Yeah, you see, now that suddenly, now that Mitsubishi is super quick. That Mitsubishi in the previous races was quite mellow. Although we are hanging much better than in my previous attempts. Doesn't seem to be the case. Here, they're just holding back now. I'm fine with it. This is, by the way, really such a cool track, I find. At least now there's a bit of fair competition. They're not like just all at the back. They're now like in my rear view mirror, although quite far behind. I am at least a little bit pressured now. damn it. Holy fuckaroli, he's behind me. I was just chilling out and suddenly I see like a... Holy fuckaroli. I see like a crazy... Like a lightning bolt in my rear view mirror. Holy fuckaroli. So it still gets a little bit exciting at the end. Holy shit, he's close. Holy fuckaroli. Right, he's hanging back a bit. I think this is the last lap, right? I hope it is. Alright. Motherfucker. Alright, I really was like chilling out, cruising to the finish line. And then he suddenly pooped up in my rearview mirror. Fucking hell. That's crazy. Alright, finally all gold. A little bit, it feels like cheesing, but yeah. I really tried my best to win it with much more challenge. But at one point, I lost 2 times just because of very artificial AI. In episode 36 and the previous one, I won the championship, but I lost this last race. Or not lost it, I got second. I didn't win it. So yeah. But let's see how this Amuse gets to the front. That car is crazy quick. So weird, this track hardly has any jaggies. And Daytona and Suzuka have a lot of jaggies on their white lines on the ground, on the tarmac. Here there's nothing, here it looks amazing. Really an angry S2000s. Alright, I'm sure he will catch up quite some cars on the straight now. There he goes. First one is the Porsche. Ah, not yet. Man, what a cool lineup of cars. These replays are really good. Right, he did overtake one Porsche, and the Porsche themselves are really quick. The roofs. They're sliding around all over the place, but still they're incredibly quick. Because at S2000 basically came from before last place or something. 2 seconds. There he goes. Pure power, pure speed. I'm sure, now he's still holding back. Why would you do that, man? You had them. Right, one down. And that looked like photorealistic. It's so amazing. Narrow tracks are so much cooler than the tracks in GT7. There it goes. 2 cars at once. Porsche and a Nissan. Wow, that was pretty cool. Wait. Man, these are really the replays why I still find GT5 a better game than GT7. It just looks more real. And it are funner cars. Way funner cars. Alright, so he has to overtake them right about now, I would say. Yeah, there he goes. 1. now he's hunting for me. Check out the gap that he's pulling. And this is where I notice him in my rear view mirror. I really got a jump scare. Maybe, let's see when he gets behind me. And then we switch back to my car. There he's coming. I think if the S2000 would have started in front of me in this race, I would never have catched it. Man, what a game. What a game. What a game. Alright, this is, I think, the third time that I won it. Alright, next episode tomorrow we are gonna do the Schwarzwald League, Nürburgring, the Grand Prix thingy. I really don't like that track. And then Tokyo again. German cars. And then let's see what the PP is. Alright, like also regular cars. So they're all around 400. So we need a car with 400 pp. Right, why can't I filter? Ah, yes. Ah, that's not filter, that is sort. Here I can filter as well. Maybe because I just don't have enough. Ah, now I can filter. Alright, maybe, I don't know what I missed. So we do Germany, and then we're gonna sort. points. By the way, oh, I have to mark that one as driven. That was a really cool car. No, this is too old, I find. The Kubelwagen, yeah, it's so weird. I'm pretty sure I already marked it as driven. Maybe the game crashed and it didn't save, I don't know. But I don't really have something of 400s. Maybe as a standard car. Wow, this car only weighs 1000 kg. That's crazy. It is lighter than a Porsche. Alright, that's a pretty cool car. I would expect it to be higher PP. I don't understand. These cars are all super low. How? How is the BMW 120i the same as that 190 DT E-Class? Okay, this is a much newer car. But how is a 2002 Turbo the same as that Mercedes? Alright, then we have Volkswagen Golf, Lupo, Polo, Audi TT, S3, $120D is apparently more performance point than a 120i. Golf R32. Now they are way quicker. I'm afraid that Speedster will be extremely quick. How is a Volkswagen Golf 1 from 76 way higher performance points than a Golf General 5 GTI from 2005? Makes no sense. I would like to drive that Mercedes, but I find it cooler to drive that car in an event with other older cars and not against modern GTIs. These are all way higher. Is that the only German brands? BMW or Mercedes, Mini,